also working and assisting with the recreation area a little bit. That is the area that we would have for tourists to rent boats, to have the canal trips. They would also have fishing gear and different things like that, more or less for the tourists. And in that, I got the opportunity to meet a whole host of different individuals from all over the state and as well even other countries there. They would come up again to visit the swamp as well, take care of looking at nature and the pictures and all the kind of things they would enjoy. And also even as well bring some of their pets along with them, which then we had to be very careful. I mean, they would bring all denomination of different kind of pets, from dogs to cats to monkeys, you about name it, even lizards. One time they had one on a leash there. But they also, we had what we call warning signs and such to help protect those little, critters that they would bring with them there. To make sure they kept them on a leash or kept them in an area that not into a hot car or something like that, but just had it to where they would make sure they would watch over them. I was standing here one nice day watching the folks as they come in, talking with Mr. Harry, and we had a vehicle pull right up in front there, long, wrapped, looked like a long Cadillac here, pulled up. From that, they opened up the door, and here bounced out this little white, kind of like a teacup or a little bit bigger poodle type dog, just a yap. And that rascal was jumping 3 foot in the air, had pink little toenails and a little ribbon on it, and it just was bouncing from one end to the other. And it started just bouncing all over, coming around Harry and myself, just a barking at it, yip, 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 yip. I mean, just kind of, if you want to call it a bark, it's more of like a yip type sound. And from that, that dog was just running all over. The Harry said, well, Jimmy, you may want to go over there and tell them folks to put that dog on a leash, for safety there. And lo and behold, they parked right in front of the sign that showed a dog with a leash on to it, to kind of help give them the visual kind of, inspiration there of doing it. So I walked over to the person there, the man driving. He got out, started stretching a little bit, and you could tell they weren't from around here. I believe they may have been from their tag, looked like New York or New Jersey, kind of like we kind of classed them either as kind of like a snow geese or Yankees, one or the other. We kind of looked at it in that frame, but very nice folks all over. But I politely started telling that gentleman, welcoming him, but then I said, you need to. And before I get that out, he said, you got any questions, go talk to that lady right over there about that dog. He was in a frame of mind and well dressed. He had his checkety shirt on, short sleeve. He had his peach-colored shorts there on, and then he had his white kind of knitted socks that went all the way up about half of his calves or shin there, and had some tennis shoes on. And again, that was his decor and dressing. And I went over there to that lady then, and she was just had the window down, and I said, good morning, or good day, ma'am. And told her, I said, man, we got some rules to help, protect the animals here. We'd like to make sure that you put your animal on a leash. Well, knowing very quickly she was from a foreign country, I dare say, because she had an accent. And that was kind of the strangest accent I've ever heard, but it was interesting. She politely started telling me, sir, my dog there that you claim, that is Fluffy. Fluffy is a member of our family, and Fluffy needed to stretch his legs and as well get out and feel nature in itself. And he would be fine. I said, ma'am, to protect him, we got some animals here that, could really do some harm. No, I don't want to hear that. Fluffy needs to have his space. Fluffy needed to get out and, show his emotions to nature. He wants to share that he is here with them and part of his world that he lives in. And he's expressing, if he feels danger, he will come running to Mama. And he will enjoy Mama's protection. He does that. He knows that we would be able to watch and take care of him. Bill is right over there, and Bill understands that Fluffy is our child. He needs to be here with us. But he's out now expressing his emotions to nature. And I said, man, but really, no, I don't want to hear it. He'll become fine. He will sense danger, and as well come back to Mama. So I politely tipped my hat to the lady and said, ma'am, welcome. and then went on back over to Harry, and I said, Harry, that there's gator bait. And so we watched that dog. He was running around the boardwalk. By the time he got to the end of the boardwalk, and just standing there, just a yipping out there in the middle. We started looking. We seen there were several gators out there, but there was one big old bull gator. It was facing that dog. And about that time, that gator went down. When we seen him go down, we could see the ripple of the water going away from that gator. We knew he was headed to him just like a submarine would. There goes that gator up that way. We kept watching. About that time, that gator got a certain degree angle where he could turn. We've had some rain which brought that water level real close up to that boardwalk area right there where that dog was yapping. That dog was just yapping at. By that time, we watched the motion of the water, the tail come up out of that water, and that gator swept that dog off without even making a flutter on that dock here. Pulled that dog off. We've seen that dog make about 3 or 4 splashes with pink toenails and all. That gator made one roll, grabbed that dog, and it was gone. It was over with. Fluffy was no more to be seen. Here come that lady. Oh my God, Bill. Oh my God, Bill. Oh my God, did you say that? And she grabbed me and said, go get Fluffy. And I said, ma'am, there ain't no way we gonna get Fluffy. Fluffy is gone. Oh my God, oh my God. She was in a state of shock. She was just unbelievable there. She just, and I'm telling you honestly, if I had to do this over again, that time she come running up, I would have threw her in along with Bill. Or I probably should have just dove myself in and went and got that dog because of all the paperwork we had to go through. We ended up having to take this lady all the way into town to have her at the emergency room for, basically it was a trauma that she went through there. It was emotional for her. And I understand people do get attached to a lot of things there. But I mean, she did have an emotional state. We had to end up coming back, finding a gator after all the paperwork that I had to fill out 9 different times explaining how we tried to explain to this lady and her husband that, be putting it on a leash. We ended up having to get all the paperwork. We had to find a gator that looked similar to the one that got Fluffy. And then we had to capture that gator, take it out to the middle of the swamp and get it out of harm's way, because they felt that gator was going to be doing further damage. We also then, that lady had to come out and we had to do a ceremonial. She ended up putting flowers into the lagoon area and had a ceremony to, I guess they send Fluffy on off to the happy hunting ground. Needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, we always try to here out make sure that all the animals are kept safe, and we encourage you, if you ever go to any park, anywhere, make sure you follow the rules.